Welcome, everyone. This is the Senior Dating, Relationship, and Love program. Tonight, on our first episode of three, we'll be talking about preparing for love. Senior Dating, Preparing for Love on the African American Network, a network with a local feel with a global reach. Tonight, the first of three episodes, we're going to talk about discussions on seniors dating and relationships online and in person. So today's first session is preparing for dating and relationships. I'm Dr. Charlene Smith, and we have Dr. Betty Harris and Ms. Carol Abrams. Betty?
This is Betty Harris. Today, let's start off with safety when we're dating online and safety when we're dating offline, such as when you find someone on your own or one of your friends introduces you to a new love. So, Carol, can you start us off with that?
Uh, yes, one of the first things online, I would say get you a throwaway phone so that if when you have contact with them, you don't have a phone that's going to be connected to you. The other is make sure that you have secured your email, your phone number from anyone. And after that, do not reveal a lot of personal information when you're doing it online. Do not give a lot of information that they can touch and tap into who you are until you're ready to reveal that. That's one of the first things. Charlene, do you have something that you want to add with that?
Well, when you're, first of all, there are a lot of red flags. Pay attention to those red flags when you're online. They're saying, I love you too soon. They want to borrow money from you. They want to move in with you too quickly. They want to really rush the relationship. They may want to get off the email texting system with the website. Be wary of that. And then if you do decide to meet someone, to make sure you tell someone where you're going, have someone come into the same place so they know that you're not there by yourself. Just those kinds of precautionary things to take care of security, and don't dress too provocatively the first time.
I was just saying that might be difficult for me.
Well, they don't want you to show too much skin. That's one of the things. And
Oh.
when you're going, you just want to make sure that you drive your own vehicle so that you don't get in the car with them. Go into a safe place where there were people that would be going in and out, not noisy, but there would be movement of people going in and out. No secluded corners back in the restaurants, or do not go to the bars where there would be just quiet. I mean, that you'll be away from other people. Go into a place where there would be other people moving around constantly. And by the way, Charlene, when you have your friends come in, just will have them come by and then they all of a sudden see you, you introduce them. So they'll get a snapshot of this person so that he'll know that someone else is there with you. You can definitely get a pepper spray to make sure you have that in your purse, and do not drink alcohol. Limit your amount of alcohol that you're going to drink or consume. Stay sober.
So, Carol, when you mentioned don't be in the back, that always reminds me. When someone says that, it always reminds me of Flip Wilson, and one of his episodes. He said, "In the booth in the back, in a corner of the dark."
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. You don't
That's
want them in the booth in the back, in a corner of the dark.
right.
You mentioned the throwaway phones. Can you tell our audience where you could purchase a throwaway phone, and how would you know it's a throwaway versus a regular phone?
I bought mine from Walmart, and it's one of the little phones you had to refill every month, and it was a cheap phone, and all you do is when you don't want to use it anymore, you just throw it away because you're not going to recharge it. It's inexpensive. Usually it costs about $35 to $50 under that amount, and you can definitely get them from Walmart.
And when we say no personal information, Charlene, what is some of the personal information that we might want to protect?
Well, you don't want to take pictures around your home where they might pick up an address, or near your car where they can pick up your license plate. You don't want to share information about your bank accounts or credit cards, those sorts of things. If you have an email specifically for the online dating, that protects a lot of stuff. So again, if they start talking about money too soon, that's a red flag. So you just want to be very careful with your personal information. any of it, financial, date of birth, middle name even, because people can look up things online. So just to be very aware of what information you're discussing.
Trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right,
Mhm.
you know something is wrong. So make sure that you follow those instincts and exit as quietly as you possibly can without any drama. Okay.
Yes, yes, that's very, very, very important. So, what do we desire? What from a relationship? How do we know what we desire?
That's the thing that in preparing for relationships and even preparing to go online, it's good to know what you desire. If you talk about what you want, that's coming from a place of lack. We
Mhm.
want to come from a place of abundance and positiveness. So you want to think about what are the things that you desire. And so tonight we'll be talking about several things that can help you um, determine what it is that you desire, but also how to get rid of some of that baggage from past relationships, how to bring closure to some of those things so that you can open your heart for love.
You know that I'm one to go in that process myself. You have to definitely sit down and take a look at the things that you want from a relationship and what you're willing to give as well. I think it's important to understand where you want that relationship to end up at. And I think that's the first thing. If you're desiring to be married, that should be the top thing that you should start preparing yourself for and know that this is the end goal. If you're looking for a companion, you should start to divine, just give a good definition of what that means and what type of behavior you're looking for in a companion instead of a husband.
Yes, yes, yes. So, when you were, I'm gonna pose this to Charlene, since Carol, you've been married since you were 15.
Yeah.
Charlene, name a couple of things that you desired, and then as you grew more mature, you decided that that wasn't for you anymore?
I think when we're younger women, we buy into the fairy tale of the Prince Charming coming to rescue us and take care of us. When life happens, you realize that is a fairy tale,
Yeah.
that you really should have some independence about yourself to be able to take care of yourself. My grandmother used to say, prepare for taking care of yourself. You may get married, but you want to be a good partner in that marriage. And if something happens to your partner, you would still be able to take care of yourself. So I learned that there really are no Prince Charmings out there. They're not going to ride in on that horse and pick me up and take me off, and I never have to have another care in the world. That just isn't going to happen. So as I matured, and of course, going through relationships and learning more about myself, understanding what I desired. So as a mature senior, I've des- I have I actually did a list, and on this list, I desired someone that knew how to manage their money. But the key is I needed to know how to manage my money so
Mhm.
that I could recognize that in my partner. I am more into having a partnership, be it marriage or long-term committed relationship. So the characteristics that I look for now are different. Younger, it's all about how fine they are and, things that really are going to change over time. What did some guy used to say? When I had when I was young, I had a chest, but as I hit 60, it became baggage because it all fell down. So of course, some of those characteristics change. We all change, our bodies
Yeah.
change. So not so much the physical, but the emotional ability to have a good conversation, to be current, to have their values in alignment. I think at 60, 65 and more, if someone doesn't have their values in alignment at that time, that can make it difficult for a relationship. In other words, knowing who you are and they know who they are. But that takes some work. And that's why tonight I have a couple of exercises to kind of start that process of opening your heart to have that space for love.
Hi, everyone. I'm Phil Townsend, co-host of In the Room with Vance Bradford. Be sure to tune in to Sports Talk on TAN TV, the African American network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And if you want to know the truth and what's happening in the world of sports, listen to what I have to say.
Carol, did you want to add something to that?
Oh, yes. In light of our discussion I had with Charlene this morning, I thought that opening your heart, you need to clear out that old relationship. And it doesn't mean you bury it, but you need to put it in a safe compartment to know that I have this space in my heart for my past love or the relationship that you hold so dear, and make sure that you have space for that new person to come in. Because if you do not, it's going to show up, because you'll start rejecting them at different points when they start getting too close in that area. I've experienced that quite a bit. So I think that's very important to clear out that and that's clearing your space. Charlene reinforced it to me that I need to clear out some of the things that was going on in my house that I have from my husband. And I'm in the process of thinking about doing that. I haven't made a full decision on all that I'm going to get rid of, but I'm certainly not going to have 11 photos in my house that from every room you go in that you're going to see. That could be very, very difficult for the new persons coming in, because it shows that you don't have a space there for him. So that's one of the things that I thought you should do, is clear that out. Clear out your closet too, so that they have some space when they come. They know that you're welcome. Do it like you would do a guest coming into your house. Prepare for them. I think it's important when they come, have flowers or something, a gesture, a nice note or welcome, because that was something that I always thought I would. Well, I always did when my husband would return from an assignment when he was away. I always had flowers and a note welcoming him back. And I think that would be a very nice thing to do for this new person coming in. So that's an old thing that I did to think I can transfer over to my new relationship whenever it develops. Okay.
Right. So when you have relationships in the past, it could be because of a breakup, or maybe there was a natural separation because someone moved to a cross country, or it may even have been because of death. Some of the things you can do, the physical things to bring space available for a new love. And when you start to do these things in the environment and in your mind and in your heart, that space does begin to open up. And I'll be sharing a little bit of that later on. But the physical aspects in your bedroom, is your bed up against a wall so there's only one way to get into the bed? You want to change it so that a person can get in from one side and on the other side. Make it, if you have to, make it cat corner in the bedroom. But that is a physical thing that says, okay, I'm expecting to have a partner in my bedroom, in my bed, and they will have access to that. Your schedule. Sometimes we load up our schedule because we're by ourselves and we want to stay busy, and you can get too busy to the point that you don't have time for someone. Carol, can I share one of the things
Yep.
that you did?
Certainly.
It was like, I may not have the months exactly right, but Carol was talking to someone, and let's say it was in January, and she was saying, well, I'll have to look at my calendar and see when I have time available. And it was something like June or July, and she could open up her calendar. And I was like, Carol, you're definitely sending that message that you don't have time in your life right now for someone else. So you want to open up your schedule and prepare. Are you overcommitted to the point that you are overscheduled and you can't have time for a new relationship? Carol just said, make your home welcoming with flowers, little notes for the person when they come in. It's important to make the home comfortable and welcoming. And you might say, well, my home is comfortable and welcome. Well, most of us don't put plastic on the sofa anymore. We don't do that anymore. But, having things open, having nice throws over the sofa, uncluttered. If you like to collect things, you might want to get rid of some of those things. The other things that you can do as far as old relationships is to get rid of mementos of past relationships. They may be good, they may not have been so good, but getting rid of those mementos helps to break that chain and open up space. So welcoming also means pictures of couples or love pictures, having statues of couples, setting the table for two people, although you may not have a partner yet. Show that you're preparing for that person to come into your life.
If you happen to have it so that you have two vanities in there, you should clear out any of your stuff on that side of it and make it welcoming for him to put his stuff there, and know that all of that is strictly his space. And that's a wonderful thing for him to have. And the other thing, if you happen to know in your conversation that he would like certain body shampoos, it would be nice to have that in the shower. So when he gets there, he'll know that you prepared for him to come. And they really like that. And so I think that's a really great thing to do. The other thing too is in your bedroom, when you're preparing for your bed, and this is something I share with Charlene every night, I go in and I set my bedroom up. I put in my candles and make it smell nice, and I spray my bed and to make it smell really great and enticing. And I lower the lights as if I'm going to have a partner coming in, so that I'll be ready for it, and he will know that this is a welcoming place and space for him.
So we're talking about preparing for dating and relationships. And my first thought came as I hear both of you ladies speaking. My first thought was, okay, I'm inviting this gentleman over. I'm doing all this work. This man may think he can jump in my bed on the first time he comes into the house. So can we clear that up a little bit?
Yeah, you set the boundaries for that. Of course, some of these things will happen later in the relationship. And that's, we want to go back to some of the things of preparing mentally, physically, and emotionally for a relationship. And one of the things is setting boundaries. That's in the emotional part. If you're not an assertive person, you might want to learn how to be assertive. A lot of I messages. And you may want that person to come over, and maybe it's just for dinner. Then state that. And then when dinner's over and maybe you have a little conversation, then let them know it's been a great evening. Stand up, start walking towards the door. Really enjoyed your company tonight. Open the door, and they may say, well, can I see you again or whatever? And then well, yeah, we'll be in contact, call me tomorrow or whatever. But you can set those boundaries. But the doing the bed is preparing for it. That doesn't mean they have to be in your bed. It just means preparing for it.
Okay, I'm sure I wasn't the only one that was thinking that. So.
And hey, if you choose to let them go into that bed that first night, that's on you. Have yourself a good time and don't feel guilty at all. So that's the emotional part. Prepare yourself. Maybe you don't want a long-term commitment. That's back to what is it you desire. If you don't want a long-term commitment, you're just looking for companionship. And maybe the young folks say friends with benefits. Maybe that's all that you want, and that is okay. We as women have been brought up to think that if we have sex with more than one partner, then we're not nice ladylike behavior. But you control the things that you desire. And if you desire a friend with benefits, that is okay. There is nothing wrong with it. It's your body. Have safe sex, use protection, but it's your body. And men have had this freedom for many, many years. But as a woman, if you are in particular a widower and you're not quite ready for that committed relationship, but you have those feelings, then go for it, girlfriend. Get you a friend with benefits.
Bye.